Welcome to the Kayak Angle. Today we will be reviewing my 2022 Oldtown Bigwater 132 PDL. This is my tournament rig. It's fully rigged, the same way I would go into a tournament. So it is fully loaded. The kayak is 13.5 feet long, weighs about 90 pounds without the drive and the seat. With the drive and seat, it's pushing about 120 pounds. So it's a pretty heavy kayak. I'm just gonna take you through front to back and all the accessories just briefly, and then I'll go into a little bit of detail on everything afterwards. So starting at the front, I have mounted an motorguide Xi3. This is the GPS version with spot lock, and it's pretty sweet, especially on choppy waters. The ability to just stay in one place, that's invaluable. I have mounted it on a customized plate. I did not go with the objective mount simply because it's really expensive. I live in Canada, and to get the plate, it would have cost me like 300 bucks Canadian. So I just made it my own out of inch thick cutting board. Yeah, and some customized brackets and nuts and bolting. And I will show you that in detail in a little bit. So there are two strings I tied to the kayak from the motor. One is here. This string is tied to the pedal that locks the motor in place. So you can see when you pull on it, it unlocks the pedal, and then you can push this shaft into the water or retrieve it, vice versa. And then there's another string I tied to the head of the motor. This string is just used for pulling the motor out of the water. And yeah, I just tied a little piece of PVC pipe as the handle for each of them. The motor comes out with a wire, and I have installed a waterproof plug. Came with the female end and the male end. Basically, you just line it up, and then you press it in, and it's gonna click, and that's locked. You know, it's to unlock it, you just twist and pull, and it comes out, and it's got a waterproof little cap to prevent water from going in, during transportation. And then underneath it, we have the pedal drive. This drive weighs about 20 pounds. It's got good thickness to it. Fills the hole underneath. Just make it more more aerodynamic. Inside here is a big hatch. You can put your phone and wallet, keys in there. It's got to be pretty safe. And this whole thing comes off. You can put in your car separately. And the good thing about it is it floats for a while, at least. Even if you drop in the water, you can retrieve it. It's a very fast drive. It's the propeller style drive, so it goes forward and instant reverse, which is very nice when you're fishing near the shoreline, or if you want to stay in the same position. Right beside it, I have my fish finder. This is my Garmin EcoMap SV775, and I've mounted it on a Scotty transducer arm, which is just screwed onto the track. There are 4 T-tracks, 2 on each side, 2 here and then 2 on the other side. It's plenty for me. And then right beside the fish finder, I have my live scope, also mounted on the Scotty transducer arm. This pole I made myself. It's mostly 1-inch PVC pipe that can rotate freely inside a bigger PVC pipe, and I hose clamped it to the transducer arm, so right now it can tilt up and down. I can just press a button here and I can pull the whole thing out. And then on the transducer side, I drilled a little hole to make this adjustable, so this can go a little bit outwards, so the transducer can sit a little bit deeper. And then if I want to turn into perspective mode, I loosen this little knob and I can flip this 90 degrees, which allows me to scan in perspective mode. And then all the wires, it's a little messy, but it's fine with me. It doesn't get in the way. I got 3 wires that goes into the hull under the hatch. I cut a little slot underneath on the lid. I don't want to cut a kayak. That allows the wire to go into the hull where the battery is and where the GS10 unit is. Yeah, it still remains very waterproof. Never had a problem with it. I'll show you what's inside the lid a little bit later. This rod holder used to be here. I removed it and moved it to the front here so that when I land the fish, I can just put my rod in here, and the rod's gonna face this way back a little bit. Mostly because I want this spot to be able to handle the Scotty transducer arm. That's where I want the live scope handle to be, which is very convenient. It's right beside my seat. I can just put my hand on it most of the day. And now we come to the seat. The seat is very comfortable. I added a little extra lumbar support. And then usually I put a foam seat cushion on it as well. I can sit on it all day, no problem. The seat is adjustable on the track on either side. So all you do is lift this knob and you can slide the seat forward and back to where it's comfortable to use your pedal drive. You got your drink holder, nice big round hole there, and this very sturdy grip. You can lift the whole kayak with this grip. I wouldn't recommend you hang the kayak with it, but for short durations that should be fine. So moving on, this is the rudder control, the rudder deployment. You pull it all the way back this way to retrieve it, and then all the way down to deploy it. Right now it's somewhere sitting in the middle because you know, the kayak's sitting on the ground. Another thing to mention is I have run the power cable from this plug, which I cocked around. It's white. I could probably paint it black. So I bolted it, I cut a 1-inch hole and bolted it to the kayak, and underneath there's a 2 6-gauge wires that runs all the way to the back to this port, which comes out with the exact same plug, and I have attached it to a little circuit breaker here, 60 amp circuit breaker, and that goes into this battery box. This is a 100 amp hour, you know, LiPo battery. It's fairly light, 20 pounds or so. It counterbalanced the heavy motor in the front a little bit, you know. It helps. Eventually, I'm thinking of moving my LifeScope battery, well, fish finder battery, and the GS10 unit to under this hatch, just to make the front a little bit lighter. This spot I usually put my tackle box here, if I need to. Sometimes I just bring a tackle bag of soft baits and I don't even need this thing. So there's another hatch right behind the seat. It unlocks and you have full access to your hull. You know, pretty decent room in there. I have a dry bag in there just with miscellaneous stuff. And coming back here, there's another track here and another one on the other side. This the Backwell is fairly large and long. This is just a cheap milk crate, $5 you can get from Walmart. I mounted 2 sets of 3 rod holders, one in the back, one inside. You know, plus the 3 rod holders gives me total 9 rod holders, and then plus this little thing if I need the 10th one. Usually I only bring 6 to 7 rods, even for tournament fishing. And in the very back here, I have my heavy-duty Malone cart. I found that removing the bunks makes it fit a little bit better on this kayak due to the hull shape. They just rest on these foam blocks. And you know, basically I just glued a piece of foam with some Gorilla tape just for the rails to sit on, and then I just zip tied it just so it wouldn't budge. This is just a little bungee just hooked down to the track. So in order to remove the Xi3, I gotta undo this little carabiner and this one as well. And usually people mount it on a little bracket you can buy from motorguide, a quick release bracket. So all you have to do is take the pin out. This is essentially the lock, and you can lift the whole motor off just like that. This motor is about 35 pounds by itself, but you have this bracket, here you go, on the bottom, which is bolted to the motor with a big hole in the middle, and that hole gets put on this block, which is part of the bracket, and they supply you the bolts for it. You just bolt it onto your either your homemade mount or an objective mount. This pin would just go through the bracket in this block and lock it in place. I'll tell you a little bit about this customized Xi3 mount I made. Well, again, I didn't want to pay $300 for one objective mount, so I made this myself out of this is 1-inch cutting board, and this is just a little piece of wood. First, I cut the shape of the contour here of the front of the kayak, and then I shaped it a little bit. Added a hole in the handle in the front. This plate is attached to the kayak at 5 points, 3 bolts, and then 2 of these U-bolts, which just comes down, go in and comes up, back up to here. It's just something that grips the handle of the kayak. So when I lift it in the front, the weight is transferred to the handle instead of you know, stressing all the plastic on top. I figure since the front handle, molded handle, is supposed to be for lifting the kayak, this should be a better way to go. Objective does something similar. I think they have instead of having, you know, 2 brackets on the side, they just have one in the front that grips the handle like this. So serves a similar purpose. And then on top of the plate, I have a little extra piece of wood just to elevate it a little bit, because as I found out when I put the bracket over this plate, these bolts were in the way. Did not see that coming, so I had to add an extra plate to elevate this plate a little bit, so nothing is in the way of the bracket actually coming down here. And one more little thing at the front here. This is just a little piece of aluminum and a little piece of wood here. This carabiner gets hooked down to this little zip tie here. So when I pull on this string, because this is secured right next to the kayak, when I pull on it, it pushes downwards on this pedal. It's just a directional thing. If I don't have this, I pull on it, it's just gonna push the pedal that way, which doesn't really press it down. So that's the reason for having this. You know, during transport, I just hooked this onto the bracket. Yeah, and that stays in place. And then I put the other end into the hatch. And now to reveal the hatch, there's a lot going on in here. Gotta take the net. Yeah, like I mentioned before, I cut in a little slot here for the wire to sit on. Just so they're not really, you know, they're not really pinched on the sidewall here. I also added an extra just piece of foam just to make it a little bit softer. Inside it's a little messy. I keep my hat in here. I keep a little pump just in case. And this is where I keep the battery for the fish finder and live scope, and also the GS10 unit. I'll lift this out for you to see. Bear with me. Yeah, so doesn't look pretty, but this is a 20 amp hour lithium battery. I hooked it up to a splitter and 2 cigarette type connectors. You know, they can handle enough amperage for the fish finder. And then right beside it is the GS10 box. So yeah, this is pretty much the you know, the messiest thing in the kayak. Might have to clean that a little bit. That's all the electronics. I just put it in a duffel bag in the cart, and then I lift it out and throw it in the kayak. Inside, again, this is just a piece of foam, just to make it so that I have a flat surface at the bottom. I just pretty much taped it to the bottom, the hole. Inside, you can see there's a wire. This is the wire for the Xi3 unit. This is the plug this connects to, and this wire just goes all the way to the back where the battery is. Yeah, other than that, there's not much to it. Yeah, this is a very nice hatch. You know, even with the wire, I kind of jam it in here. It still stays very waterproof. Usually I never have a single drop of water, even if it was raining hard. This is my GS2 net, or G2 net. Got it on Amazon for about 40 bucks. The original handle ended here. It's a very short handle, so you know, I extended it with a piece of PVC pipe and wrapped it in hockey tape. It's a nice rubber net. And one last thing I should show you. There is a hatch hidden underneath the battery box here. It's a 6-inch ID hatch. This I added myself, and I caulked around it to make sure it doesn't leak. You know, I really put it in because I needed the access to add this plug right here, and that gave me a little bit of maneuverability to get these bolts in. So thank you for watching. This is my review of my Oldtown Bigwater 132 PDL. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments. We'll try to get to it. You know, overall, very impressive kayak. It's not the cheapest, but you know, I would say it's worth the money, especially if you are a real, you know, serious tournament angler. One of the fastest hauls around. Just pedaling with a pedal drive, I can cruise around 3.5 miles an hour for probably around an hour. If I go casually, I can go 3 miles for a couple hours, no problem. With the Xi3, I've tried on the top speed with the drive down. That takes me up to 4.2 miles an hour on a very calm lake. But usually I have the transducer dragging in the water, so you know, it slows me down to about 4 miles an hour. But to conserve battery, I usually run it at about 3 miles an hour. You know, if you're just casually fishing, yeah, you can probably save some battery by not going at the maximum speed. Yeah, this is my review of the Oldtown Bigwater 132 PDL. Thank you for watching. If you have any questions, I'll try to get to it in the comments. Yeah, thank you for watching. Bye.